Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day today. Good day for me. I went to the markets in the morning. Love Sunday markets. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get into what I wore. I wore YSL Y Elixir, or Elixir, as a little L at apostrophe would have you believe. Um, so yeah. So let's just get right into the fragrance. How I applied it, I can't tell you the sprays. Like I said, these things are small and they don't give out a full spray. But I put a few on my moisturizer, kind of sprayed a few on my neck, a couple on my chest, shirt on, a couple on my shirt, and a couple in each crick of the elbow. And the first applying was about half of that. As you can see, I'm empty, so I did use the other half. I had to reapply, which will bring me to performance, which isn't bad, but isn't great either, but we'll talk about it. Now, also, to be fair, geez, I don't have one here. But usually, this is scandal. I wore once already. Usually, you'll get about that much in a sample. For whatever reason, Y only gives you like half. So to be fair, I went through half of one of these, not a full one. But still, that's average. So, again, what did I get from it? I first put it on, and it is way too sweet when you first put it on. It is, again, sugary, candied fruit sweet. But that real intense sweetness only lasts about 15 minutes. Then it's some citruses come out because it's like a sweet candy apple-like vibe for the first 10 or 15 minutes, which was I'm just like, oh no. And but I remember from the other Ys, I kind of got the same thing, not as intense as this, but the same thing. And so I said, well, give it a minute. And like I said, 10 or 15 minutes later, that the citrus starts to come out more, which gives softens the sweetness a bit. But then this nice floral combination of rose and lavender, somewhat slightly powdery, ever so slightly rose, and a clean, fresh lavender smoke. That really helps soften the sweetness. Well, it's still a sugary, candied fruit kind of sweet scent. The florals really just kind of mellow that out just enough for a guy like me that it's okay. Same as most Ys. And as that sweetness and fruit dies down a bit more, you're left with a good amount of a slightly soapy, clean lavender with a bit of a sweet spice vibe coming from the frankincense that's in this. Now, this is not an incense scent. The frankincense is just giving it that slightly sweet, spicy vibe the frankincense can give without the smoke and the wood incense kind of vibe to it. And that's kind of the mid. That's kind of the whole mid. It's just a really fresh, slightly soapy lavender, a little bit of the citrus fruit from the top still in there, and a little bit of slight sweet spiciness from the frankincense, and that's the mid. And then the dry down, the base starts to come in, and it keeps all that, but what starts to really show up in the base, they say oud. There is no oud in this, and if it is, I've never smelled oud that week because I do not pick up even a smidgen at any point in the life of this fragrance did I ever smell and think, oh, that's oud. No, it is just a light, woody, musky dry down, like a fuzzy amberwood. So if it is oud, it's not an oud I've ever smelled. It's like I said, it's more like an amberwood kind of dry down, like most of the other Ys have. There might be a hint of oud in there somewhere, just enough that they can say there's oud in there, but you're not going to smell it. Yeah, so, but regardless, like I said, it's not an oud scent either. So it's not smoky or oudy like you might think when you read the notes. Not at all. There's nothing like that in here. And that's kind of the scent, honestly. So what is it? It's a sweet apple, citrus, fruity scent with geranium and fresh lavender. The geranium, I said rose earlier, but it's actually geranium, giving it that rose vibe. Slightly aquatic, soft, spicy, and an amberwood base. But no oud. It's another modern, masculine, sweet, fresh, aromatic, woody scent. And you think I'd hate it. But no, out of all them types of scents, because they're not my jam, but I've always said I don't dislike the smell. I like the smell. I'm just they're not for me. But of all them kind of scents, you're thinking Victuses and blah, 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 blah. You can name a million of them. Y has always been ever since the first release of the first original Y EDT, I've always liked Y. It's done it a little different. The sweetness isn't quite as sweet. The sugariness isn't quite as sugary. The lavender they use in all the Ys and the florals always give it a touch of, cleanliness to them and masculinity that most of the other ones don't have, I find. So out of all of them, Y's always been my favorite modern masculine scent. My preference is actually for the Y original EDT or the Y Eau de Parfum. I think those two are the pinnacle. But every Y I've smelled, and I haven't smelled them all. I smelled, obviously, the original EDT I own, Y Eau de Parfum, Y Parfum, and the new relaunched Y EDT. And they're all great. They all smell pretty similar. They got little tweaks to them, but they're all great. They all smell it. You'll smell it and you know you're smelling a Y fragrance. And therein lies the problem with this. Pretty much the same thing. Tweak it a little bit, but you're still smelling Y. I'm going to do a video on elixirs here next, but I want to talk, not just elixirs, but you'll see what I mean. At a $250 for 60 mils for Y, literally for just a slightly tweaked Y. No, just get the EDT, get the Parfum or the Eau de Parfum, whatever one's cheaper, whatever one you like the best, because there are slight differences, but not enough to, because at that price for 60 mils, man, no. And performance, I get better performance out of the original EDT. As I was saying, I'm only getting about 6 hours out of this, which is about what I got out of the original EDT, maybe a little more. And projection is just, it's good for about an hour, but never beast, never really far. It's an arm's length out there for an hour, hour and a half. Then comes in. Now, it does give you a nice bubble for a few hours. I will say that. And a decent skin scent, and then it's gone. But at that price, it's nothing Y EDT won't do for you. And Y EDT, I can get it for if you get it on discount, I think it's like $80. You get it in retail, it's only like $130. It's more than $100 less, and you're getting pretty much the same scent with better performance. Do you see where I'm going here? So it's not that I don't like this. I like this a lot, actually. It would probably be my second. It would definitely be my first favorite's the EDT, the original. My second favorite is the Eau de Parfum, but this could tie that Eau de Parfum in the scent, not in performance, because the Eau de Parfum, I'm getting 8-9 hours of the Eau de Parfum, so and a solid few hours of projection. So, yeah, just get one of the other ones. Honestly, it's not that this is bad or anything. It's just get one of the other ones. I did get a compliment from a guy today. Like I said, I went to the markets, and I got up super early and went super early. So in between going to one market to another market, so I'm going to have a bite to eat. I normally don't go to McDonald's, but I do like the sausage muffin, not with the egg, just the sausage and cheese with the hash brown and the coffee. So I went in and got that, and I'm sitting there, and he brings my food to me. And he's an Indian fellow, not that matters, just he had a bit of an accent, so I didn't understand what he was saying at first. He said something, I was like, oh, excuse me? Can I ask you something? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I don't know the perfume. He called the perfume. He's Indian. The perfume you're wearing, I very much like it. Well, what is it? And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. It's, I told him what it was, and he's like, oh, thank you. And he walks away. Whether he goes, smells it, or buys it, I don't know. But he really enjoyed it. His eyes lit up and everything. I was like, oh, well, that's good. Like I said, that was about an hour and a half into wearing it, so it's at the tail end of its projection. But it projected okay. Like I said, about an arm's length. But it's just not different enough, and doesn't perform as well as the other ones, and it costs twice as much for half as much. Now, can you say that, oh, well, this is better quality, better ingredients? Sure. I didn't notice a difference, honestly. And your average person, your average guy, girl buying it for somebody, your average, your casual fan, as they say, it's not going to go in and smell this and be like, smell Y EDT and be like, and smell this and like, oh, that is way more natural. It's not going to happen. They don't care, and they don't know the difference. And I have a relatively good nose, I think, and even I couldn't really tell. This smells of slightly better quality, but not heads and tails, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, guys. I mean, I wish I could come here and tell you it was different and it performed great, but it's not. It's just not. Save yourself the money. Get one of the otherwise. You know, the YEDT is a little fresher. You know, you might want to go with something like the Parfum or the Eau de Parfum. Would give you a little more depth like this has, but it still smells like wine. Sorry, guys, that's it. I'll be back. Peace, love, be good to each other, and be good to yourself.